Well, we are here for the Virtual Racing Championship Season 9 finale at Phoenix Raceway. It's been a fun season. It'll come down to a three-horse race to battle for the title. Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us here on Twitch. I'm Eddie Kalegi. Landon Lyle is with us. Sammy Marasco will probably be joining us in the booth in a bit as well. It's been a very interesting year in the VRC. A lot of up and down for several drivers, but the one consistent factor has been Drew Jua. He enters this race with a 15-point lead, trying to become the first driver ever to win 3 virtual racing championships. He did it last year, and he did it again back in Season 5, both for his own team. This is the 7th straight season where he's been in the title mix entering the finale, and he holds a 15-point lead, which is decently comfortable, but there's 2 other contenders still in the mix. Another is Vinny Iacovazzi, who took a 2-season hiatus from the series, but is back this year, has not won a race, but has been one of the most consistent, 14 top 10s in 16 starts. Iacovazzi driving for Dark Horse, who have won a championship back in Season 7. He starts this race in 7th, and he is 2nd in the standings. And then your pole sitter for tonight, Chad Eastwan. He is 22 points out. He's going to need some help, but Eastwan is still in the mix for Ohio River Racing, and if there's something Eastwan knows how to do, it's winning championships. He's won 2 before in VNS, and now looks to do it in VRC as well. Eastwan 22 points back, but he's on the pole. Drew Jua starts the worst of the 3 championship contenders. He is back in 9th place because of a miscommunication in qualifying, and he ended up missing the qualifying lobby, so he's going to have a little bit of work to do. And some people might say, well, 9th place is not a big deal, but the last time Drew Jua missed a qualifying was that Michigan race where he was buried in the back, got in trouble early, and was never able to recover. But a great year of racing in the VRC, and it comes down to 3 drivers, a seasoned veteran, a rookie, and a former truck champ coming back from 2 seasons away from the sport. 3 drivers for 3 teams battling for 1 elusive championship. So Eddie Kalegi here, Landon Lyle, looks like Sammy Marasco has joined us as well. Lyle, I'll go to you
Hi,
first. A huge night of VRC racing coming up, and VNS was very interesting last night as well, and now it'll come down to these 3 drivers. Drew is the favorite, but Iacovazzi and Eastwan both hungry for their first VRC championships.
Yeah, Eddie. Drew's coming in here with 7 wins on this season, with Vinny having 0. Eastwan only having 1, but Drew here tonight is on a wheel, and I think Eastwan is too. But Drew and Vinny are experienced here. They both have wins. Drew actually hasn't won here since Season 5, but he's probably the favorite to win tonight just because it's on a 1 times tire wear. So it'll be interesting to see how that'll work tonight. I believe the tires should be able to make a full field run of 81 laps, which is enough for a half. So, yeah, if it goes green, it's probably gonna go to Drew the whole way. But with Eastwan on pole tonight and Drew starting in the rear, it's going to be very interesting to see how that will all play out.
Well, we have a few drivers to talk to before the race, and we will start with our points leader, Drew Jua, 15 points to the good. That's actually the biggest gap that Drew has had going into a championship race in his VRC career. So Drew up 15 points, but now a little obstacle to deal with, starting this race back in 9th. How much of a factor is that going to be coming to Phoenix Raceway, which at times can be a bit hard to pass at, aside from right on the restarts in the dogleg?
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. I mean, we're coming from the back, unfortunately. We've run out well all season. I mean, the only race that I haven't finished inside the top 5 was the race where I got wrecked by Joshua Franks intentionally. It was unfortunate, but we've crawled our way back slowly but surely. To have that finish, it was pretty not demoralizing, but it's frustrating. We run perfectly all season, and that happens. But it's nice to come back and have a 15-point gap. It's weird because I'm so used to being tied and coming down to this last race. I think it's happened four or five times in my whole VRC career where I'm at least tied going into the final race. So
Mm-hmm.
it's nice to not have to worry as much as I have in the past. So we'll come from the back, and we'll try and keep our distance from Vinny, and I won't worry
Thumbs
too
up.
much. This is a good track for me. So we'll try and make it 3. I do have an announcement for after the race. Depends on how this race goes. Let's be honest, but yeah.
So my follow-up question before we let you go, you just referenced how you've been in this spot before, and of course all the battles with Tim Moore, and you had one here at Phoenix with Tyler McDonald a few seasons ago. Do you think that puts you sort of at an edge because you've got Chad Eastwan, this is his first VRC season, and Vinny, this is his first time contending for a VRC title, where for you, you've been here before multiple times?
I wouldn't say that them not having as much experience is an advantage. The main advantage that I have is the points, obviously. I mean, I've worked for these points throughout the whole season, getting playoff points, bonus points. I've really set myself up for a good position, in a good position here, and they're good in their own strength. Chatty's one is good at short runs, especially at certain tracks. As you see, he's really good at qualifying. He puts himself up front every single race. It's really going to be about driving to the field, and just making my way up cleanly, not trying to make any enemies on my way up, and just, like I said, my goal this race is, even if I don't finish in front of them, finish at least 5 spots behind them. Because if I do that, I can assure that I'm going to win the championship, and that's all that I'm here for. I want to win a third and have the most of anybody.
Well, nobody's ever won 3 VRC titles before. Drew Jua tries to become the first to do that tonight. We have a couple of other drivers here, Lyle and Sammy. I'll let you guys jump in. We don't have any other championship contenders here, but if you want to interview someone else, go ahead.
All right, well, excuse me,
You're excused.
but I'm this guy here. We're going to take my official Know You co-owner and good friend Casey Master. Casey, of course, you're not running for a championship tonight. You're just here to have some fun. Talk me through what your plans are tonight to try to dance around this championship battle and possibly go for a win.
I mean, I think you just did it best there. Of course, I gotta respect those guys going for a championship. I also want to win again, so it's just be smart. If they're obviously, if I'm in second or third or something, and one of them will be behind me, I'm gonna let them go, obviously. But it's just, be careful, be courteous, and be considerate, really.
Yeah, of course. I know I talked about it a little earlier in the pre-race show if you want to go back and watch that, but our merger was just announced not too long ago, and I let everybody know about that. So officially, AAM and Know You are one corporate entity. I wanted to see if you wanted to give your comments on that at all before we get going here.
I think this is gonna be a great thing for both of us. Really, it takes a lot of the pressure off of me running the whole show all the time when I'm not, always available. Uh, it, I think I picked the perfect guy for it to come over and help run the VNS program next season.
Thank you, Casey. Is there anything else you want to add? Any thanks before we let you go here?
Thanks to all y'all for putting this stuff on. This league's a blast. I wish I could have showed up more in the playoffs, but stuff came up, and we'll be back next season.
All right. Thank you, Casey, for your time, and good luck tonight.
Thank you.
All right, well, I'll jump in next. We got 2 interviews to go, and I'll go to my co-owner at McGinnis Motorsports, Tyler Glass, who got the team their only win of the season a couple of weeks ago, and he's back at it tonight. Phoenix, decent track for him. So, Tyler, similar situation to Nasser, not able to compete for the championship per se, but you did make the playoffs and you did win a race this season. So how are you looking to kind of bookend this year tonight here at Phoenix?
I'm just here for the vibes. We're just going to chill and pray that it ends up being a saver, because that's the only thing I can win. Clearly, we're running last in the playoffs, dropping to VNS next year. So obviously we're washed. We are as washed as Kevin Harvick. Um, Not much we can do, but just have some fun tonight. See if we can get a save win.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you've done it a couple of times before. You did it twice last year. Got to win this season as well. So best of luck to T-Glass tonight. And Lyle, I guess you could finish up with the legend himself, Luca Mazzilli Jr.
Yeah, so now we got roll over to Luca. Luca just kind of got you in last second here, but you know, is there anything you feel like saying regarding tonight and potentially next season for your team?
So, this entire season for me has been a struggle, ups and downs, left and right, running basically an unsponsored car for 90% of the season. But hopefully we can get it out and get a decent run here at Phoenix for our last race in this number 10 car. Hopefully, unless I go blow a motor or get dumped. But either way, let's just have some fun, Final race of the
Yeah.
season. Let's just go out there and go crazy.
All right, well, good luck to you tonight. Don't cause too much chaos.
I'll try not to.
Thank you.
What a class act. All right, well, we are 3 minutes or so away from when the lobby will roll. Appreciate everybody joining us. Eddie Kalegi, Landon Lyle, and Sammy Marasco. A look at the starting order. Chad Eastwan for Ohio River Racing will be starting this one from the pole. On his outside is the 20 car, driven by Ryan Steinberg. That's the Gavin Hudspeth Racing entry. The 20 car, of course, was James Mendez earlier this season. He really struggled. Now it's been kind of a committee of drivers. The veteran Steinberg, still no wins in 111 career OMA starts. He starts second. Tyler Glass, the Fuel Save King, starts third in the Lone McGuinness entry tonight. His outside is MJ Cerullo, the veteran in the 19 for Gavin Hudspeth Racing. In fifth, P5, you've got the 10 car tonight. Did not see who that. Oh, that's Luca Mazzilli Jr. Silly me. He starts in fifth. To his outside, driver who's had one of the most impressive seasons of the year, Kevin Urguez for Ohio River Racing. Nobody expected him to be a top 5 points contender, but that's where he is at now. Seventh starting spot is the guy who's P2 in the standings, Vincenzo Iacovazzi. His outside in the 1 car tonight, I believe, is Ryan Mineker. Mineker, a veteran of the series. Starting in 9th is Drew Jua, the points leader by 15. His teammate Tim Moore is the 3 car in 10th. Back in P11, you have the 18 of Casey Masser. He'll be starting this race near the back. And then wrapping things up, in 12th, you have Alex Stevens for Gavin Hudspeth Racing. And in the caboose for No U Motorsports, the 96 of Zachary Mendez. In that Toyota, he starts 13th, and the lobby is rolling, so we are just about ready to get this thing started, guys.
Yeah, I'm excited, man. This is going to be a fun race here. We got on tap as I'm trying to find the lobby. Wow, it was the very, very last lobby.
So we have 156 laps tonight. The halfway will be at the start of lap 78. I believe there's a caution at halfway tonight. Pace speed will be 50 miles per hour. The draft settings are low, and it's 1X tire and fuel wear, which Lyle talked about off the top. So we're probably not going to see tires really become a factor here. So I don't think there's going to be that much fuel strategy in this race. So we'll see how it all shakes out.
Yeah, I want to
Yeah,
harp on that
most,
point a little bit. Oh, go ahead, Lyle.
No, you go ahead. You go ahead.
But yeah, I wanted to harp on that point Eddie just made. I'm not sure exactly how tires are going to play out here. Fuel, the number says you're fine, but it depends on the tires, because those tires, especially at this track, will wear very, very quickly. And so that's what I'm going to focus on coming into this race is, will the tire wear be enough for you to make it to halfway? Because if one of these guys doesn't make it to halfway, especially your championship contenders like Drew Jua or Vincenzo Iacovazzi, that could open the door for someone like Chad Eastland to possibly throw his hat in the ring.
Yeah. I don't. Again, like you said, I don't really think we're gonna have much of tire strategy tonight. But I think Drew, even though he's starting around what 7th, 8th, somewhere around there. Yeah, he's starting 9th. I think Drew naturally will just make his way up to the front. Sorry if I'm missing something there. I wasn't paying attention. I was trying to go through the field. But yeah, so Eastwan's got a good shot. He's gonna start with probably a little bit of loose car on pole, so we'll see how that goes. We're hitting the Geico restart zone.
And just got out of the restart zone. Green flag is in the air here at Phoenix. Chad Eastwan off to a great start. And did Luca Mazzilli chop down a little bit early there? Could that be a possible restart violation on the 10 car?
That's Parker's decision. We'll see what he has to say about that.
That's what. So up to Parker Ness as Tyler Glass and the others all fall back as you see Steinberg in the wall out of turn 2. He keeps it straight. Remember, first lap of the restart, half of the field has to go to wreck or there will be no caution coming to the line. Chad Eastwan running the tire saving line here. You definitely can tell a lot of these guys cautious about the tires. First championship contender we've seen besides Chad Eastwan right now is Vincenzo Iacovazzi in the 41, as he comes out of turn 2, hunting down his rival in the 24 of Eastwan. Drew Jula right behind the 10 of Luca Mazzilli, trying to get up there and get around Luca and follow his 2 title rivals to the front.
It's been a good start so far for a bunch of drivers. Eastwan able to get that whole shot, but the fact that the 41 has been able to thread the needle so much and get up to P2, really impressive. You see that 8 car of Jua working the top side. He's side by side with Tyler Glass for P4 as Urgueas pulls out to the inside through 3, but Jua able to pull away as Glass lost some ground. And now you have the 3 championship contenders, 1, 2, and 4, with the unsponsored Mazzilli car in the mix as well.
Luca's just vibing up there, doing his own thing. As I'm not sure if Luca Mazzilli has any plans confirmed for next season yet. I've heard possible VNS being thrown around, but I'm not sure if Luca Mazzilli actually has any plans after this race here. So his final race, driving the 10 for Dark Horse, and after that, the door's open. So this could be a strong performance for Luca. Possibly could be a sign that he does deserve a race here in VRC and should be full-time.
Just want to mention something happened to the 20 car of Steinberg off of turn 2 last time. He was up around 7th or 8th, got squeezed down near the pit wall, and has fallen all the way back to last. So Steinberg has fallen from 2nd to the back in just the first 4 laps here at Phoenix.
That's rough, because he hit the wall out of turn 2 on the opening lap as well. So not a very bad start for the 20 of Steinberg, as we see Ryan Miniker washed up on his onboard. Back up towards the front, though.
Just want to mention the 19 of MJ Cirillo is nearing the top 5. I know it sounds crazy, but he actually is contending right now.
MJ's got a really strong short run car. Especially at these short tracks, MJ Cirillo tends to have a very quick short run car. The Battlefield will team up a little bit here.
And there's also a proving moment here for Cirillo, I just want to say, because he's another person who's been rumored. He has actually done decent in his starts since moving into that 19 for Gavin Hudspeth. And he's someone who wants to maybe make the move to VRC full-time. He's been in the league for 5 years, never been a VRC full-timer, and hoping maybe he'll get that chance next season.
That's definitely a good story to follow, as we almost have a battle for the lead heating up here, but not quite. Drew Jula has worked his way past Luca Mazzilli for the 3rd position, and looked like he made a peak on Iacovazzi heading into turn 3, but thought better of it. Now we might see that same peak again in turn 3. You see Drew running a very low line, going below the WO line, almost has a nose on Vinny. Vinny pulled ahead on the 2nd lane.
And Sammy, this is where Drew has such an advantage because of the 15-point gap. Where he's running right now, he does not need to pass these 2. He's going underneath Vinny, but as long as he keeps the others behind him, there's nothing else that Eastwan or Iacovazzi can do because they need multiple spots. But Jua clips the wall, and now they're 3 wide down the back.
And that's exactly what these top 2 want to see. They want to see Drew Jua falling through the field. Because if Drew Jua gets no halfway points and Iacovazzi wins it, then the gap's down to 5 points. That's 1 position. So Drew needs to get halfway points if he wants to win this championship.
Yeah. Drew made a little mistake there, and Kevin got up to 3rd. You know, Kevin is with his short run setup, so he's going to be up there for a little bit, might falter back. But as you see there, Tim Moore making some moves.
Tim Moore's out of 4.
Yeah, that's not good for Drew. His
surprised.
teammate Tim. Oh, Kevin in the wall.
as he
Oh,
makes
that clipped
contact
Almost-
with
the
Tim
3,
Moore.
and that clipped the 10.
Wow, that almost just killed the whole field right there.
Straight, though, but I think
As I
now
was saying,
Drew Jula,
sorry.
I think he's saving tires now. I think you're gonna see Drew Jula slowly fall through the field as he saves more and more tire. Casey Mass also in the frame as well, but Jula's gonna probably fall through the field a little bit here, recuperate a little bit, reset, and charge his way forward potentially, or he's saving tires. One of the two.
Yeah, it's a wise strategy, especially since you know there are guys up here because they're racing constantly 2 and 3 wide. They are pushing their tires so much now that they are going to be dead by about lap 50, lap 60. So even if Drew sits back to avoid any further trouble, I mean, MJ Cerullo, Luca Mazzilli, Kevin Urguez, not the best at tire conservation. So I think he's making the smart move if he is trying to save some tires right now, as we still have a lot of side-by-side battles. Istvan and Yakavazi have gotten out straight 1-2. Istvan's led the whole way so far, but a lot of 2v2 battles. Tyler Glass just had a good one way down into the dog leg with Casey Master. The 10 car still to the outside of Drew Jua.
What a run by
Yeah, I
Luke
completely,
in turn 1.
I completely agree with you, Eddie. Some of these drivers have been making a lot of aggressive moves, and you're probably wondering why, because they're usually running mid-pack. But you know, they're obviously on probably a short run setup. And one person I just want to mention real quick is Tim Moore. Looks like he's been saving some tire, but he's also just ran through this field. He's run from 10th, and he's all the way up to 3rd now, making a move for 2nd on Vincenzo Acavazzi.
And I think people forget how important Tim being here actually helps Drew in this race, because he's a teammate of Drew Julius. He's out of the championship mix, but Tim Moore has won the last 2 times here, and if he wins, that denies Yakavazi or Istvan of 5 extra points.
That's exactly what I was about to bring up. I think when Tim passed Drew, I was extremely confused as to why he wouldn't let Drew back in front of him, but I think this is why. Drew was falling back to save tire and ride a little further in line. Tim's charging to the front to win this halfway and deny the 2 other contenders points. That way, Drew Jua is secure and can win this championship. So it's all a team game, even this early on here.
This is the first year that Tim and Drew are teammates. And Tim's had a pretty big week as well, even though he is not in the championship mix. He's been making the most headlines this week because he had his play-by-play clip for NJCU that went viral and was on SportsCenter and Barstool. So shout out Tim on that as he continues to chase Istvan for the lead.
That was a beautiful call by Tim Moore. If you're watching this, Tim, after the fact, that call was still beautiful. But the one thing I want to highlight here also about Tim is that he's not saving his tires. Istvan and Vinny are obviously saving their tires. You can see them running the heavy conservation lines. Tim Moore's just chopping the aprons, cutting the dog leg, really hurting his tires here. So does Tim Moore just plan on running hard this entire time and trying to just pressure Istvan and Vinny into running harder?
Well, I mean, he's got nothing to lose. If he were to sweep the race and somehow, gain the most points possible on the 3 guys in front of him, he can probably get 2nd in points, but I don't think that would do anything. So really what he's trying to do right now is just run Istvan down. He's going to try to pass him, probably win the halfway, and he's just going to try to help Drew the best way possible. Just like how Kevin, I think, is probably trying to help Istvan. Is probably on a looser setup as I know him to do so, but
That's the first time Istvan's cut the dog leg this entire race.
yeah, I just noticed that as well.
Yeah, and something with
he hits the wall.
Istvan caught the wall, and Tim's going to go to the outside, and this is working very well. Even if Tim doesn't pass Istvan, there's another layer to this. He is making Istvan mirror drive and use up those tires, and Istvan's going to be pushing it now to try to keep up with the fray as Tim takes the lead away. And now you're going to have Istvan with slightly more worn tires, which could help Drew Jua in the long run. So again, the teammate games with OCM Racing, who have already clinched the team championship, on full display as Tim Moore, who's won at Phoenix twice in his VRC career, taking the lead here in the desert.
And now with Tim Moore taking the lead, now the 24 of Chad Istvan, obviously on the back foot now. He was on the offense, now he's on the defense. Drew Jewell working his way forward, trying to pass his championship rival, Vincenzo Yakavazi. Yakavazi obviously running the more defensive outer lane, but he's going to succumb to Jujua out of turn 2. Jujua marching his way forward now, looking to pass Chad Eastwan in his turn 3.
Yeah, this is interesting how this is going to work. So Tim Moore got away from Eastwan, and the 24 just not keeping up right now. Now you've got the 8 car of Drew Jua, who has easily cleared Uruguayas for 3rd, and Yakavazi is stuck on the outside, and Luca Mazzilli Jr. is challenging him for 5th. So right now, everything is playing into OCM Racing's favor, and Eastwan's starting to lose the handle, and the 8 is reeling him in.
Yeah, Juju is obviously a more of a long-run type of guy. That's how all of his cars are set up for the longer run, and you're seeing that here as this run gets longer and longer. Juju's 8 car gets bigger and bigger in the rearview mirror of Chad Eastwan, and that's pressuring Eastwan to run harder, eat up his tires more, while Drew can take a more relaxed pace.
As Kevin makes a little bit of a run on Drew here, I really wonder, like, you know, if Drew were to have some issues in this race, would Kevin and Eastwan, do you think they could truly pull something off? Do you think they could really win the title?
Yes. I'm gonna say, based on what I saw from last time I called an OMA race, was the VRC
contact.
Michigan race. His car on the inside wall might have been Vinny down there, but
That's Yakavazi.
yeah. So I don't know what happened. He kind of got chopped off at 2, but
Yeah.
back
Oh,
to
yeah.
Oh, and there's more contact further behind.
MJ in the wall.
And
It's
Derulo,
Derulo falling back.
that was
well,
some
but
retaliation by Vinny. But Eddie.
Yeah. So, from what I saw in Michigan, Ohio River Racing did a great job working together. Parker Ness putting his drivers in position to get points, and then he ended up winning for the first time in his VRC career. So, if something happens to Drew Juha, I would not rule it out, because he's had some bad luck this postseason. He's also had bad luck at Phoenix in his career before. There was a race he dominated, and he lagged out with 20 to go and ended up finishing like 17th a couple of seasons ago. So, I think it's a very manageable gap, and Eastwan so far looks better than Yakavazi. So if something happens to Drew, I think Ohio River Racing can pull it out, and Uruguayas would be a much more helpful teammate, I feel like, to Eastwan than, say, Luca Mazzilli could be to Yakavazi.
Yeah, speaking of Yakavazi, though, that little bit of a moment he had was caused by MJ Cerullo almost putting him in the inside wall halfway down the back straightaway, which, I mean, that's just a unintelligent move. You see Ryan Steinberg also walling the 19 in the background. If you're MJ Cerullo, you're trying to make a name for yourself here and earn a VRC ride. Chop blocking a championship contender halfway down the backstretch is not a way to do that.
So you've got the Ohio River Racing cars in 2nd and 3rd now. I assume Uruguayas isn't going to try to pass Eastwan here, but Tim Moore has distanced himself about 2/3 of a straightaway ahead of the 24, and it's a long time till the lap traffic of Miniker and Steinberg. Kevin pulls down low, and then you got some surprisers, 4th, 5th, 6th. You've got Casey Master, who's climbed to 4th, and then Mazzilli and Stevens currently battling it out for P5.
Alex Cash-Stevens working his way forward. He looks like after tonight he's going to lock up the first man out of the playoffs after I got myself suspended last week, of course, not running this race.
Wonder what happened.
Lyle also got himself suspended. But after our
Well, now you're in the
suspensions,
booth
that
with me,
opens
so
it
that's
for
cool.
Alex. Oh yeah, I'm having a blast tonight. But that locks up the points position for Alex. I'm happy that Alex is running good here tonight. He's got a lot of pace. I'd like to see Alex get another top 5 win this season. We both got top 5s at New Hampshire earlier this season.
Oh, well, I think Stein had an issue.
Lugos hit the wall.
Oh.
Yeah, a couple of things just happened. Something happened to Stein. Uruguayas passed Eastwan. Now Eastwan is going way down in the dogleg. That is the lowest he's gone all race to take the position back from his teammate. And the 88 is getting surprisingly racy with his teammate, who is the championship contender, when in reality, Eastwan's just got to get away from this pack so he can try to take as many points away from Jua as possible at halfway.
Yeah,
And
as
then Drew goes
Kevin said in his
halfway.
pre-race interview, he really wanted, if he's able to win this race, he said he's gonna go for it. So, but he also wants at the same time to try to help Eastwan get the job done tonight.
And they're also 5 seconds behind Tim, and at this point, nobody is anywhere close to Tim Moore, who started back in 10th, stormed his way to the lead, passed Eastwan on the outside, and now is just completely checked out on the field.
Yeah, so Tim,
There's no way Tim Moore isn't killing his tires, by the way.
Yeah, he's running full out. I mean, that's the most you can see him do right there is that. But right now, yeah, I believe so Eastwan's the only person in the top 3 to be in this halfway point contention. So he would be gaining 7 points on Jua and Yakavazi, but surely that will change near the end of this run with how the tires will play out.
Yeah, Eastwan is such a long shot that's going to need a lot of help. And honestly, it's really big that Yakavazi just isn't in the top 5 right now. He needed to capitalize on halfway, and he's got to catch up to these guys.
Yeah, I believe MJ Cirillo. Yeah, he's definitely saving tires. I believe MJ Cirillo, though, kind of messed him up there.
Yeah.
With that bit of a scuffle.
Yeah, I don't know why you do that again if you're MJ Cirillo. It just didn't make any sense to me. He has a thing for championship contenders. He did it in VNS with Buckner at Richmond and Michigan.
Oh! As Eastwan got loose off the corner.
Puts Casey Master in the wall.
Yeah, put him in the wall there. Oh, that's gonna drop back Drew, because Stevens just hit the wall.
As now that invites Yakavazi to come in on this battle and potentially pick up some positions towards halfway points. And now I don't think you're going to see Casey Master very when you see it right there, giving him a little bit of a bumper. Casey Master not as huge as Ben Ohio version. You're seeing that once again here, halfway down the back straightaway. I think Casey might get a little physical with Eastwan if he has to. If Eastwan makes another mistake like that again.
I mean, yeah. So I think Casey said he doesn't want to mess with the championship contenders, but if Eastwan doesn't make enough mistakes, he will try to get around him and go for some more points here just for fun. So, is Kevin just at the corner?
Oh, your Glaives just sent Master up the track.
I think that 95 might have hit the 88 or.
But now you see Casey running Kevin Glaives down the track.
Yeah, Casey ain't gonna have it. We're having a battle now. Yeah, Kevin's just gonna let him by here. I wouldn't want to mess with him anymore.
Now, the one thing that this does do, it's gonna allow Eastwan, at least for the moment, to get a little breathing room away from this pack, and Drew is still stuck behind all these guys. Drew currently runs 7th. Eastwan is in 2nd, and Yakavazi is in 8th, excuse me. He's just passed a car, so he's moved into P8.
Oh, look at that. That's going to mess up Drew almost. And that's going to be 1 car. That's going to be 2. That's 3. That's going to be a caution.
Yakavazi involved. That's a huge wreck on the back straightaway.
That's got to be a
humongous wreck.
That is 100% a caution. That is almost at the field like you said, Becky. That is 110% a caution.
And this is huge because now that completely eliminates tires, and we're about, I think, halfway, maybe a little bit over halfway into this run. So now we're just going to pit and take, whatever strategy you got, put your tires, tire pressures in, and yeah, it's going to be an all-out battle from this point on.
So I'm still confused how that all, I guess Mazzilli just washed up through 2, and then someone got in the back of Vinny. Was Drew in that? I think he avoided it.
He almost was, very close.
I know Vinny was in it, Master was in it, 96, 22, 19, 95 stopped across the front straightaway. So, about 6 of the 13 cars were in this.
Yeah, that was pretty huge for a Phoenix wreck. Man, that's probably the most action this track's gotten in this series in a long time.
That's also something else I wanted to harp on heading into tonight is the field is not as large as it normally would be. Normally it's 15, 16 cars, but it's only 13 tonight. So there's less points available, which makes it harder for guys like Yakabazi and Iswan to gain ground on Jua.
Yeah, as we're pits are open this time. This might be a bit interesting for Eastwan because if he can get ahead of him more, I wonder to see how well he can hold off him. Because as you can see, I mean, you saw in the first few laps of this race, Eastwan is really good on the short run, but how will Moore play this out as well?
Yeah, this is interesting. All these cars heading to pit road. And you've got this 3 car, the 24, the 18 of Master, and then you got Drew Jua as well. So, I don't know. The one thing this is going to allow Drew in some ways to catch back up. It's going to bring Tim Moore back to the field. But it felt like Eastwan was starting to get into a good position and starting to check out for second place, and then all of that had transpired behind him. And again, with the bad blood now between a couple of these non-championship contenders, they have to try to not involve one of the title contenders in their mess, as Tim Moore's going to win the race off pit road. Eastwan's second, 18 is third, then the 88, and then it's basically everybody who was involved in the wreck, plus Stein, who was almost a lap down.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
pretty typical pit exit. Tim Moore, I thought, might get contended by Eastwan and the ORR guys, but that obviously didn't happen. But the one guy that I want to keep my eye on during this restart is Vincenzo Iacovazzi. The one thing he loves is when he can run as hard as he can and not have to save tires. That's where he shines brightest.
Oh,
So
please
if
stop.
someone's ghosted. Not sure who it is, but someone on their screen is ghosted, so we're going to make sure everybody's ghosted and get back rolling. Once we get back rolling here we go. But back to what I was saying. Vinny shines on the short run and just the pushing hard and only one pit stop to go type scenarios. So if those scenarios can shine through for the halfway, like I believe they are right now, this is where Iacovazzi's going to shine brightest, and this is where you'll see Vinny push his car harder than he has this entire race and march his way to the front.
So I believe we'll be going green here lap 47, so we'll have 31 laps or so until
That was 47.
halfway.
So
So Eastwan is second on the restart. Drew Jua is fourth on the outside. Seventh is Iacovazzi. And then you have Master and Urguez, who are kind of mixing it up, we saw right before the wreck. They're lined up together. Urguez behind that 18 in front of the 41, who has already gotten caught up in 2 messes outside of his own doing, the caution, and before that, when he got walled by MJ Cerullo. So green flag coming here, lap 48, 30 laps till halfway. Moore, Eastwan, Masser, Jua, Urguez, then Mendez, Iacovazzi, Glass, Masilli, and Cerullo. The green flag back in the air. We are
Lap
back
48.
racing in the desert.
And you see Iacovazzi cross the finish line, guys, way low in turn 1, and contact between Tyler Glass, your co-owner, in the wall a little bit there, gets it all grouped up, and now out of turn 2, Tyler Glass giving a push to Kevin Glass as Vinny possibly showing us his pleasure with the 88, put him in the wall a little bit there out of turn 2. Luca Mazzilli down the inside on the 22 of Tyler Glass as it's a brawl behind Iacovazzi.
Yeah, they were 4 wide for a second there, and they are again down through the dog leg as the 19 goes way down there. 96 of Zach Mendez got shoved around. Tyler Glass got knocked around. All 3 contenders stay out of that skirmish. Moore out to the lead. You got Moore 3 wide behind as Jua is 4th. Eastwan in 2nd, Iacovazzi in 5th.
Jua kissed the wall out of turn 4 there, though. So a little bit of a wide exit for Jua, kisses the wall, gets it back going in turns 1 and 2, and Tim Moore once again checked out. I think Tim's going to push even harder now. But you sit back for a second with Casey Masser and Chad Eastwan starting to pick up a little bit here as Jua trying to get on the scene as well.
Yakavasi kind of laying back from those three right now, hoping maybe they get together and he can sneak past, but he really has to try to see if there's some way he can get past that 8 car.
That's his main goal right now, is getting past Jujua. Good thing, unless Tim Moore makes a very unconventional mistake, it's going to be hard for Vinny to win this halfway, which is what he needs.
It's going to be extremely hard for Vincenzo to win the halfway. But as long as Drew is in this top 5, honestly, I think it's going to be just as hard, to get anything around him the next stage. Because, 15 points is a lot to make up. He has to finish like what, 4th, and then he has to sweep. So, it's a lot you gotta do. You're gonna have to hope. Like if you're a Drew Jua hater, you have to wish for someone to absolutely just have some brain dead moment in front of him and just wreck. Because Drew is a great driver. He's a great wreck avoidance driver. So.
And the special ones that seem to cause the wrecks are outside of this main pack right now. So. They are further back. It's really the top contenders who are all up here right now. In fact, I think it's the top 6 in points that might be 1 through 6 at the moment. Obviously,
there
not
are
in
no
that
Sam
order.
Morosco and Lyndon Lyles running tonight.
That is true. Yeah, they don't have you guys either, or me. We're the troublemakers as well. Thankfully, they don't have us on
We're
the
not
track.
causing wrecks.
Yes, but so East One is 2nd, Jua is 4th, Yakavazi is 5th. As they run, Jua would be up 18 points. Jua would be up by 17 points over Yakavazi at the halfway bonus, and East One would gain 4 more on him, so they'd both be more than 15 back of Jua, so they both have to beat him by at least 5 spots in the race at the end of it. So there's got to be some urgency here as we approach 20 laps till halfway, and now Casey Masser peels to the inside of Chad Eastwan looking for 2nd.
Masser trying to throw that 18 car in the ring, the leading No You Motorsports entry, heading into 1 and 2. Eastwan was a very wide line, trying to be on the defense. Reigning VNS champion Chad Eastwan, he won it 2 straight seasons, and now he, in his rookie campaign in VRC, won 1 race and is now racing for the championship. And right now he's holding off one of the best on the game in the form of Casey Masser and Drew Jewell all over his rear bumper. Drew almost looks down the inside of Casey in turn 1, thinks better of it, but Yakavazi making it look like Jewell as well. Is now they're side by side for P2.
Yeah, Master got a good run. Jua had to back out, and it allowed Vinny to close in, and now Yakavazi goes low.
Drew
And
back
they
out
all
of it.
get knocked around, and Jua's going to lose a spot, and he might lose 2, and Eastwan's going to fall back as well, and Master goes to 2nd.
And out of nowhere, Vinny's here.
Well, that's what Vinny
We know the relationship between Casey Masser and Vincenzo Yakavazi's. Masser almost in the wall out of turn 2. Beautiful crossover by Eastwan as well. Behind that, Tim Moore is just checked out as they beat and bang for P3. And Master's kind of gotten away from these 3 as the 3 title contenders are all running in one big battle. So if you want to get
Vinny's got to hope Eastwan and Drew maybe come together here. He also can't let Casey Masser get too far, but they might be a bit far gone now with those guys beating and banging down the backstretch. Now you have Masser stretching out 2nd place, and again, Jua is in a good spot because even if these 2 finish in front of him, they're going to gain 1 at halfway, an extra 2-4 points. It's not what they need. They need more than this, and Vinny's really going to try to start making some headway, but Drew is right there as well.
Vinny, of course, like you said, having to start making some headway. Speaking of making headway, here comes Tyler Glass. He was involved in that shenanigans on the restart, and now he has marched his way forward on this battle between the 3 title contenders. Will he try to pass these guys? Because as we know, Tyler Glass does not care. He will do whatever he wants. So if he gets up there, don't expect him to roll over for these 3 title contenders. I expect T Glass to run hard and potentially get into it with Drew Jua and Chad Eastwan and Vinny. As he almost puts the wall in turn 4, Yakavazi does.
Yeah, I mean, as great as this battle may be looking right now, it really is not much for the points. I mean, Vinny is ahead of Drew, so that would be, um, yeah, I think that would just be, let's see, yeah, he's in third, so he'd be getting only 2 points on him, so that's 13, which, honestly, I don't think that even makes a single difference in how many positions he'd be ahead of him by, but, I mean, besides the points battle, has been a quite the great, maybe not a great, but it's been a pretty decent battle for this whole top 5 and top 10, really.
Yeah, so for those who are unfamiliar with VRC, halfway bonus at lap 78, which I believe we're 15 laps from now, the top 5 cars will get points. 10, 7, 5, 3, 1 is the way it goes. Eastwan gets a huge run on Drew Jua. He's going to pull back underneath him and get past him for 4th. So as they run right now, Vinny would get 5 points, Eastwan 3, Drew 1. That would get Vinny within 11 points of the championship, Eastwan within 20. So right now, this is working out well for Vinny. And he's got to hope Drew kind of stays back. Tyler Glass and Uruguayas have caught up. Maybe this turns into a pack. But Jua able to rip that middle groove so much better than any other driver. And he pulls back around Eastwan on the outside.
I think one thing you also have to look for heading into the closing bits of the halfway is these Ohio River Racing guys. This Chad Eastwan smacks the wall out of turn 2, loses ground at 22 of Tyler Glass, and his teammate Kevin Uruguayas dives on the inside. He's going to forfeit that to his teammate as Eastwan almost smacks the wall again out of turn 4. Very bad lap there for Chad Eastwan, because now he's got to get back on the gas. As Drew Jua is loving that. Seeing one of his title rivals smack the wall out of turn 2 has got to make you feel a little happy to some degree, as now Tyler Glass leads in charge to the rear bumper of Drew Jua.
Yeah, Eastwan's over driving, and now, because he doesn't have the pressure from behind, Drew's been able to focus forwards, and he starts to close back in on Vinny. So Yakovazzi has to hold on to this spot, but now as they run, it's a 13-point difference for the championship, and Vinny's got to hope that Tyler Glass, who seems to actually have some speed, can maybe run them down and get past that 8 car, but Vinny, all kinds of pressure from behind now from the 8.
Speaking of pressure, up at the front, Tim Moore is starting to feel a little bit of pressure. Casey Master has been reeling him in slowly but surely. That gap has almost cut in half, I want to say, from what it was when they first started going. So now Casey running a lot more of an aggressive line, strong, shallow entries. Tim running a very wide, relaxed line. You're starting to see the differences between these two drivers, both greats on the game, and right now, they're going head-to-head for the halfway bonus here at Phoenix.
Yeah, Master has completely shrunk that Tim Moore advantage, as Jua again looking for 3rd place on Vinny. He's not going to get it just yet. Eastwan has faded way back now to 6th, and a distant 6th at that. So he's going to need a lot of help to get some points, and now there goes Jua to the inside for Yakovazzi, and he's going to try to get 3rd. Yakovazzi trying to hang on the top, but it's not enough. The 8 car goes to P3. Crossover move from the 41 down in the dogleg into turn 3. Vinny's got the momentum. Can Drew carry the top?
Contact.
A little bit of contact.
Off the track
they
goes
both
Drew
keep
Jua.
it straight. Can Vinny keep the drive on the bottom? He can't. Drew Jua to 3rd, and Jua's got a 17-point lead.
Jua trying to expand that gap as much as possible as Tyler Glass now on the scene. He doesn't care about people's feelings. He's making a move on Yakovazzi. Yakovazzi trying to cover him off. He's going to be closer to turn 1. He's going to cover off Tyler Glass by just a bit. I don't know what's going on. The game's lagging for me. We get it sorted out, though. Jua starting to pull it a little bit.
Sliding a lot right now.
I think Vinny's starting to lose the handle on his car here a little bit. As up at the front now, Tim Moore, his gap has officially depleted. Casey Masters there in the 1 and 2. If you're Tim Moore, do you fight Casey Masters here? The halfway doesn't mean much.
Honestly, I think these two are gonna have a pretty well and respectable battle. I mean, these two are very great at the game. You got a pro leaguer versus, I mean,
and there comes Casey out of turn 4.
Yeah, Tim just kind of let by a little bit there.
That pro league experience coming in here.
Got 5 to go, by the way, until halfway, so intensity picking up. And again, for both of these guys, neither of them is in the championship battle. They're not anywhere near the contenders, so they really have nothing to lose. So I think we could have a fun battle here these last couple of laps before halfway. Master coming off of the win at Chicago. Tim, who has had a weird year, started off struggling, had a horrible Daytona 250, was actually below the playoff cut line after the first 3 races, then picked up a victory, then won 3 in a row to close out the regular season, but missed a playoff race, had a bad run at Watkins Glen, and fell out of the championship picture. So they'll be coming here to 3 laps to go till halfway, which will be no more yellows till 78, with Masser and Moore 1-2. Jua, Yakovazzi, Galassi, the others in points position. Eastwan is 6th. His teammate Urquayas has fallen back.
Yakovazzi hit the wall again on turn 4. He was pushing really hard to keep up with Jua, but now I don't know if Vinny can do anything else, but just watching as his championship rival drives away and gets blocked by Tyler Glass out of turn 2. I'm not sure if that's going to be very good for Tyler Glass.
Oh, someone I think is wrecking back there. Unless I was going crazy. Nope, okay. I think someone got really loose out of, yeah, I think it might have been Eastwan, actually. Or Stein.
So leaders should be coming here to 1 lap until the halfway bonus. And the battle rages on at the front, but Casey Masser has put some distance between he and the OCM 3 car of Tim Moore. Masser, former VNS champ way back in Season 2 in 2019, 3rd full-time VRC campaign after he stepped away to race in the eNASCAR Heat Pro League, but he's back, and he's won multiple races 2 of the last 3 seasons, and now trying to close out the season strong. The win at Chicago, and now a big lead entering turn 3. Lapped car of Miniker too far ahead through 3 and 4. Halfway bonus for the 18 Snickers Toyota of Casey Masser.
Masser clinches halfway, then Tim Moore, Drew Jua, Tyler Glass, and Yakovazzi. That, I believe, does it.
What a run by Masser.
Unless Drew Jua makes a grave mistake, he's got the championship in hand now. And we see Ryan Steinberg doing his best for on chassis and pressure around the outside. Hits are closed this time. We'll wait for everybody to get stacked up properly because this track gets strung out really easily. Not like your other 1-milers on the game.
So as they run now, Jua picked up 5 points at halfway. Yakovazzi just the 1, so it's a 19-point lead for Drew over Vinny. Eastwan is 27 back. So let me think. If I do my math right here, I believe Drew, if Vinny has to win and Drew has to finish, I think 7th or worse. So this is going to be very difficult. But at this point, Drew's got to be feeling good. A little playful taps with his teammate Tim Moore. But if Drew finishes in the top 5, he has clinched the VRC Season 9 title.
Absolute dominant performance by Drew this entire season. It's a shame to not see Tim Moore in this title battle. I think it would have been a good battle between the 2 OCM guys, but good to see Drew claiming potentially what could be a 2nd straight title as long as everything goes his way here in the second half.
So now the strategy switch. For Vinny, all he can do at this point is win and hope that Drew Jua runs into some trouble. Because if he does not win, I think if my math is right, Drew would have to finish 9th. He really needs some absolute chaos. So 41 can't be worried about the 8 at all. At this point, he's just got to try to do everything he can control, which is win this race and put himself in the best position to do so. If you're Drew Jua, just stay out of trouble. I'd push the tires a little bit at the beginning just to get away from the pack. He comes off pit road in 3rd. That's a good spot to be in down on the bottom. He's going to have Tyler Glass behind him, who's probably not going to be that aggressive on the restart. So right now, Drew is in the perfect position, but Vinny, all he's got to do is focus on trying to find a way to get that 41 in front. And for Eastwan, this is disappointing because he started on the pole, had some speed early, but then the handling just went away those last 30 laps, and he misses out on the playoff on halfway points that he desperately needed if he wanted any shot to contend for a title.
as we'll be going next time, according to Parker.
I think we're waiting on Stein.
Yeah, I
Per
believe so
usual.
too. Oh,
T-Glass is
and
just
Drew is
spinning
in the
Drew under
wall.
caution. Friendly fire. Where is the 20? Let's see. When
He's coming
He
up
was in
turn
the
two.
pits.
Oh, there he
Turn two.
is.
Halfway
Yeah,
down the back.
he's just having a good time.
He's cruising.
Yeah, about to go
Northeast
over
too.
112.
Wow. Shots fired here in the booth towards Ryan Steinberg. Oh for
Tyler Glass
112,
is just
Zeddy says.
running in front of the field under caution. One of the few times we'll get him again in his car in front of the field this season. But T-Glass did win a race, so I can't
It's
complain
the-
too much.
It's the Pace Tyler. Pace Glass. However you want to put it. The Pace car Tyler Glass.
The T-Pace car.
Where's he going?
I don't
Where
know.
did he
He's
get
got to get back to his spot, which is 5th place. There he goes. All right, we're going to restart here. I believe lap 82. It's Tim Moore on the inside, your leader. He's been the fastest car all day to this point. Then it's Casey Master, Drew Jua, Vinny Akavazi, Tyler Glass, the top 5. Stevens, Eastwan, Zachary Mendez in 8th. Then it's Urguez, Cerullo,
Casey
Vasily
Masters, the
Miniker,
control
and
car.
Steinberg, and we're back green.
Casey Masters, the control car in that restart. He was the leader. And I think he and Vinny Yakavazi almost coordinated that restart.
Oh,
Drew's in the wall!
Drew's in the wall!
A car in the wall!
Drew is
He
in the
gets hit
wall!
by someone!
He's bled a bunch of
Oh,
positions
but he's
now.
not
and
out
now-
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
24!
Wait, 1,
That's
2,
not half the
3.
field.
That's not half the field.
That wasn't half the field.
That should not be a caution. They're gonna say it was a caution. That is
wasn't
a
half.
big break if they do officially say the yellow.
Stay
It's
green.
staying green.
They're gonna stay
It is
green.
stay-
Oh
Drew
no.
Jua's championship hopes have all but depleted. He has to drive through the field and put on an absolute masterclass performance if he wants to win this championship.
That was
Now-
absolutely huge.
His back
if
is
Drew
against the
loses
wall.
Championship. Now we know what rules getting changed next season. But anyway,
Oh,
currently
wow.
runs in what? 11th. He is ahead of Cerullo and someone else who was in that wreck. I don't know who initially sent him. I saw the 24 made the contact, but Eastwan got hit from behind. It might have been the 96. It was not Eastwan by himself. And then in front of that, there was more chaos that caused the wreck, and Jua was just right in the middle of it. So now Jua and Eastwan are way back.
Jua's in
Chad
P11.
is basically out of this. And then if you're Vinny, Vinny's got to be aware of what has just transpired, and he has to just follow Masser and try to get away. Running in second, he can get 45 points if he finishes there. So he would
Jua
need
just got 10.
Jua to score 25, which would be 9th place. He's really got to get to the lead, and then you've got the battle of Drew Jua trying to get into the top 6.
Drew Jua is currently in P9 or P10 at the moment, excuse me, and is just following Chad Eastwan as they try to catch Ryan Steinberg, Luke Mazzilli, Kevin Urglis, and I believe that is the 22 of Tyler Glass up the road. But
To be honest, that could have been a lot worse for the A car. With
Yeah,
Drew's
it really
speed,
could have.
If he avoids any other incidents like that, I think he'll still be fine. But there's still a lot of work to be done. He did lose a lot of track position and a lot of time.
but he also has some help at the front of the field in the form of Tim Moore. Tim is going to do everything in his power to help Drew win this championship. Kevin Urglis can't really do anything now to help Chad Eastwan. Chad Eastwan's basically done for the night. But Vinny's got a couple of friends up there. I think Alex Cash Stevens might help Vinny here. I think Casey Master might try to help him in some capacity. But Tim Moore is going up to bat for Drew Jua. And right now, he's putting the pressure on Vinny right now. Possibly pushing him to burn his tires up more. But
Yeah,
Cash
Tim
Stevens
is-
are on the outside now.
Tim is gonna fight Vinny for this. He's basically Drew Jua at the moment. If you
And
want to think of it
Alex
like that
Cash
way.
Stevens
Oh,
slides N95 up into P3 after a beautiful move on the outside of Tim Moore. Now, will he pass Vinny here, or will he ride in line behind him?
Yeah, 'cause
Time
Steven's
will
someone,
tell.
this will probably be the second straight season he finishes the best of the non-playoff drivers, but he's got real contention and
Roscoe
speed.
snub.
I know in RHRL he's had much more success than here, so I think
Luka
at some
moves
point
Hey,
he's
it's
going
points
to
out of the
put
way.
things together in the VRC. But runs third in front of Tim. Nasser is distancing himself in front of Yakavazi, and then Jua is 10th still.
Stein just sent Luka for P5.
As that is all good news to Drew Jula.
Yeah, because if these three guys
Four.
battle it out, Drew's gotta catch up. So that's not good. So Vinny really needs to take that lead right now, and they cannot be 3 wide, goofing around the way they are. Well, for
Yeah,
Vinny's
there's no way
sake.
Drew Jula doesn't win this championship. He's getting all the help possible here.
Yeah.
Or may rigged? I'm kidding.
The script came out.
As they currently run, Vinny is still in 2nd. Drew is still in 10th. So right now, Vinny would win the championship by 2 points. Another pass by Drew or a spot lost by Vinny, and Drew would win by 1 point.
Oh.
Now, do we think so let's say everyone is staying where they are now. That's where they finish. Would Vinny, do you think Casey would let Vinny by?
I don't know. I don't know where the alliance stands. Now, Dark Horse and OCM made a trade of their drivers earlier this season, and yet we know Master and Vinny have a good relationship. So I don't know who Master has the allegiance to, and whoever he doesn't help is going to be mad at him. So he's kind of in a bad spot. I think it's better for him to just try to get away and win this race and be like, oh, well, I was 10 seconds ahead. What was I going to do?
Yeah, and if he
That
is
is
gonna
probably
help,
the card to play here.
and if he is gonna help Vinny, he'd probably slowly fall back and make it look less obvious. But Master, he's a pro leaguer, man. If he's gonna push it, he's gonna push it. Like you see right now, he's one of the best there is. So he's gonna lead as much as he can, I would assume.
So here's the problem for Drew. So right now, I don't think he's going 100%. He's caught this group, and he's aware of the situation. If he passes this group and he's back in front of them, he's going to win the championship. But I think he's waiting until maybe they get some separation where he can knock them off one by one. Because I don't think he wants to catch those guys in the pack, because that is a crazy pack. We've seen Stein and Luca get tied up. Kevin sent Stein. T-Glass has been in the mix too. Drew's already been wrecked with those guys once and almost twice in this race. I don't think he's going to try to make that move just yet. He knows what speed he has. He knows how to conserve tires. I think him and Eastwater are just going to wait until those guys get separated, and then they can try to knock them off one by one.
Yeah,
I think that's
agree.
definitely the plan for Drew right here. Because if Drew charges up there right now, and he gets wrecked and comes to a complete stop and doesn't collect anyone else, well then, he's 15 seconds off the next car, and he's almost getting lapped by Casey Master, and he loses the championship.
Yeah.
So right now, Drew just has to play it smart, like Eddie said, and just wait for these guys to string out like they're starting to get right now, and pick them off one by one, piece by piece, while also saving his tires, by the way.
I just want to mention one thing though. We see Alex Cass-Stevens in 3rd, now potentially 4th place, but I just want to give him some love for a minute. He has not had one of the greatest seasons of all time. He's just been kind of here and there, and I think his only top 5 might have been at New Hampshire. But I just want to
That was also New Hampshire.
yeah, it's like just throwing it out there. I just want to give him some love. I know he usually doesn't run out here in P4 in a VRC race, so just want to give him a quick shout out for running so good at the moment.
It's always nice seeing guys like Alex get the runs they deserve here in VRC. That's how it always feels nice. Like, that's exactly how I felt when I got my top 5 in New Hampshire. New Hampshire, obviously one of my better tracks. I had it circled on the calendar, and I went out there and performed that day. And Alex, as you see, doing the same exact thing right now, battling one of the greats of the series, Tim Moore, for P3, and he's not backing down. Tim's actually going to have to hop in line here behind Alex, as beautiful drive there by the 95 car. Compromises X a little bit, lost him to reel up on him a little bit, but
So while this has gone on, guys, Drew Jua has actually gotten pressure from Zachary
Yeah.
Mendez. The 96 is now right there, almost past Drew. Now, if the 96 gets past the 8, that puts Drew 4 points back of Vinny, I think, for the championship. So 2 positions on track. Now he's going to get around Eastwan. That'll put him back in the buffer. This actually puts
yet.
Drew in the points lead for a moment. Never mind. 24 dives down. 22's right in front of them. And that's going to hurt the 8 because the 96 is going to get a run down through the dogleg and may have the momentum to make the pass through 3. And Drew's going to give it to him. So Jua is now 2 track positions back of the championship. And he runs in P11.
Yeah, Zach's actually pretty underrated this track. I mean, I know he's always running some sort of a loose car, so he might falter in the long run, but, I mean, Drew also has the help of the 22, so I know for a fact that Tyler might move these 2 out of the way. But, yeah, so Drew is definitely getting pressured right now, and I think Eastwan, if he's not going to win the title, I think he's going to try to, do his best to, make sure Drew doesn't win the title. Not like he has anything against Drew, but just saying.
I think
so Mendez just sped past all those guys, so he moves into P8. Zachary Mendez, 3rd VRC season, almost pulled off a big win in the Stars and Stripes 300 at Charlotte earlier this season on fuel strategy, but just came up a few laps too short. But Drew runs in 11th. Back at the front, Vinny is in 2nd, because Stevens still runs ahead of Tim Moore in 3rd. So Yakavazi right now would score 45 points. Drew, I believe, would be down around 21 points. So he is now 5 points back of the championship.
So if he... Okay, interesting.
I think I know what the plan is for Drew Jua right now. I think what he did as soon as he got wrecked is he said, okay. Because if you remember, the fuel run overlaps the amount of laps and a half. On top of that, the tires, as I mentioned earlier, were going to be the big question mark coming into tonight. And I think that's what Drew is doing. He's trying to no-stop this entire second half, which if he can, and then people in front of him eventually do pit, those are the positions that he needs. So I think these 3 guys right here, Chad Eastwan, Tyler Glass, as you see, and Drew Jua, they might be the top 3 guys at the end of the night, just off of tire strategy.
This is a very interesting situation here for Drew.
And a reminder for those just joining us, Drew Jua came into this race with a 15-point lead and did what he had to do in the first half of this race to put himself in the position to win the championship, was 19 points up. Then on the ensuing restart got wrecked, and Eastwan was in it as well. But on the first lap of a restart, half the field must wreck for a caution to happen, and in the end, the officials decided to keep it green. So Yakavazi has gotten firmly into 2nd place. Jua now has passed Tyler Glass for 10th, and now is 2 points back of Vinny Yakavazi for the championship as they run. If he gets past Eastwan, that would now move him into the championship lead. The problem is, the 24 has slowed this group up so much that Jua is going to have to gain a lot of track position if he's able to get past him. And if Vinny gets to the lead, that puts Drew in an even worse hole. So this is a challenge, and the 96 has just completely run away from these 3.
I think they're hard saving right now. And I think what Drew is banking on here is the fact that people in front of him will make pit stops that he will not make. Everyone besides maybe like Yakavazi, Masser, Moore have to make a pit stop. Your Luca Mazzillis, your Alex Castevens, your Zachary Mendez's, your Glaius's, your Steinbergs, they all have to pit.
As Drew just hit the wall a little bit there.
They're all probably making 1 pit stop. So if Drew out-cycles them, gains those positions via strategy, then it doesn't matter what Vinny does. He can win the race for all Drew cares. As long as Drew gains those positions under strategy, then it doesn't matter, as he picked up a spot from Tyler Glass.
Now, something to remember, Vinny has won a race at Phoenix in the VRC on fuel strategy before. there was a race, I believe it was season 6, where the whole Thunderbolt team, that was the last year of Thunderbolt, it was Vinnie, Parker, and Gavin, they all took 2 tires or something on the last pit stop. It was a situation where everybody had to pit, and they ended up undercutting the whole field. Gavin and Parker ended up getting passed by Tim, but Vinny was able to stay out in front of them. And again, as I said, Vinny can't be worried about what's happening behind him. He's still got to try to win this race. He's got to see if he can get past Nasser, because that's 5 more points and essentially 2 more positions that Drew Jua has to gain on track. So for that 41, he's got to be thinking, what can he do to maybe get past this 18? Because again, I don't see a situation where Master lets Vinny by, because he's got a rooting interest with both him and Drew. And if he does something for one of them, he's going to definitely upset the other. And I don't really think he wants anything to do with this title battle.
As right now, the 24 Beast One and the 8 of Dua are actually battling for that championship position for Dua. Nothing for East One, but right now, East One prevails, it looks like, against Drew Jua heading into turn 3.
Yeah, East One is Vinny's best friend right now if he wants to win that title. I mean, I don't know. If they aren't saving, I mean, I don't know, like, what is going on with Drew? And I don't think it's anything going on. It looks like they're saving, but how far will that strategy work out?
As someone who saves fuel and tires a lot himself, I know exactly what it looks like when someone's saving fuel, and that is saving fuel 100%. Drew walks up in the center, makes contact with East One. East One's not going to like that very much. East One trying to probably cut it low. Oh, it's contact once again between these two. Will East One give Drew the bumper heading into turn 3?
If he gets the opportunity, I mean, he's going to try to get by him. East One knows he won't win this title, but I see him almost hooking him there. He's trying to move him out of the way.
3.
I do not know what the 24 is doing right now. So that moves Drew to 9th. So again, Drew's in that spot where he is 2 points back in the championship, and East One is racing him very aggressively, and he's going to try to pass him back. He tries to slide himself into the wall.
What in the world
was
that?
The back of him.
This is not what
Steinberg's on pit road, by the way.
That was
There's the pit stops that I mentioned that were going to happen that play into Vinny's hands, but if Chad East One's going to race like this, it won't matter. He's going to get Drew Jew's going to get wrecked again, and it won't matter what happens because Drew Jew's losing enough time getting wrecked by Chad East One where he won't be able to win the championship because Drew puts him in the wall. Yeah, that's probably expected.
Yeah. I mean,
if I had a nickel for every time Chad East One put in the wall for driving stupid, I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's weird that happened twice.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know
Drew has now moved into 8th.
There, but,
So as they run since Steinberg pit, Drew is the champion by a point over Vinny. So now, again, this becomes the situation. As Sammy said, they've been saving. So there's other people in front of them that you'd expect are probably going to have to pit. Luca Mazzilli Jr., most likely, though he has gotten better with saving. I'd say Kevin Urguez is a definite that's going to have to pit. Mendez as well, based on past history, and possibly Casteven. So there's definitely 2, as many as 4, that Drew will pass if he's been able to save enough. And again, that's that kind of gap. If Vinny can't get to Nasser, that's going to be enough for Drew to win the championship.
Actually, I feel like it's not sound kind of crazy, but I feel like this whole like top 6, maybe even Mendez is saving. Actually, no, Mendez is not saving. He's probably
There's no way.
There's actually no way. But I feel like this whole top 6 might actually be saving. Kevin, I don't know. I mean, it's hard to tell because I'm not someone who saves that much, but.
And looks like East One had some contact with Drew Jua there.
Oh, and he's gonna
go
cross him over,
wide.
make it 3 wide. Yeah.
East One's driving real aggressive here.
Interesting move by East One.
Just let him go.
I mean, at this point, East One is not really accomplishing anything. He's wasting his tire, so he's not saving anything. He's 27 points back at the championship.
Yeah, he's got nothing to lose anymore, and it's a stupid move what he's been doing, but.
And now
he's doing it.
Oh, Tyler Glass makes contact with Drew Jua. He gives the spot back though. As now Ryan Steinberg is just in the very back of this frame. So, could this potentially mean that Drew Jua's championship is still on the...
What the...
Oh! He puts him in the wall! East One Rex as well!
What happened to East One?
He
Eric
hit
Stein.
Steinberg.
What happened to East One? Did his wheel break or something? What was that?
Chad East One.
I have no clue what that's about, but Drew's got to be feeling all right now. Now he's just got T-Glass, and that's 7th place, and that puts Drew 4 points up on the championship.
East One has spun again.
4 points up in
Did
the
he blow
title.
a tire?
That actually wouldn't surprise me if he did, but
East One's in the pits.
last ditch effort, I guess, for East One.
That reminds me of the strategy Donovan David used in a championship a few seasons ago in VNS, where he tried to wreck or do something to Thomas Green in the championship race, and like Eastwan, failed miserably. So, and what has been a very good year for the 24, moving over to Ohio Ripper Racing, this is certainly not a banner night for him, and he's probably going to finish 3rd, if not 4th in the championship, because if Tim finishes 1st or 2nd, then Eastwan finishes in back, he might lose his podium finish in the standings.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. East One coming in this season, obviously I was teammates with him. I knew he didn't want to run Saturday nights. That's why he ran a second VNS season, and he ended up winning that title. So he ran Friday nights, but Saturdays he wanted to do other stuff, but he decided he had no choice but to run the VRC. So he's doing this season, and he had a honestly surprisingly extremely great run. He just kind of gave a last ditch effort there on Drew, and that's probably his season. And
now
yeah,
is where you're starting to see the potential flaw in Jua's strategy in the form of Ryan Steinberg. This strategy might blow up in Drew's face for the sole purpose of he's lost too much time. Because Steinberg's going to get by here. He's got Eon fresher tires. I don't see him riding behind these two.
is that
That is
for
true.
position?
Yes,
No,
yes it is.
no, Stein
It's
pitted.
not?
Stein
So he's a
pitted.
lap down.
Yeah, Stein is a lap down. So here's the deal. Drew Jua has to essentially probably finish in the top 8 right now. Eastwan has lost all of his track position, so he is out of it. There were 2 people that Drew was already beating, the 19 and the 1, and Steinberg's the lap down. So that's 4 right there. If one more person pits, or Drew is able to get past T-Glass, he is very comfortable. Right now where he's running, he's decently comfortable, but one more spot and he's got a 2-position buffer on Vinny, and unless the 41 passes the 18 for the win, which he's not making any gains, and other people behind him are closing in, maybe it's part of that is saving, it's going to be very difficult for the 41 right now.
It's not looking
Yeah.
really good for Vinny.
Yeah. Oh, here comes Eastwan again. Oh wait, no, he's already lap. Wait, is he lap down? Okay, yeah. Anyways,
yeah, he is a lap down.
yeah, Drew. I mean, I think it's obvious. I mean, if he needs to pass one person to win that title, it's easy. You already know Tyler Glass is gonna let him by. I don't care what you say. I know Tyler Glass and he have been buddies for so long now. I don't even know how long, as Drew's in the wall. But I mean, even I don't care, even if it doesn't look blatantly obvious, I know that 22 is gonna let him by at some point if it comes down to it. But I will be back soon. I will keep my eye on Drew just in case anything happens. But I gotta go do something. So
As-
you guys take the call.
Yeah, we'll take the
Now-
call. We have about 26 laps to go.
Ballpark. Yeah.
So where they run right now, Master is first, Vinny second, then it's Kevin Uruguayas, Tim Moore, and Alex Stevens, the top 5. Then it's Mazzilli back in 6th position. Zachary Mendez is 7th. And then you get back to Tyler Glass in 8th, Drew Jua in 9th. And oh, by the way, Chad Eastwan has suddenly closed back up to the 8 on fresh tires. He's a lap down running in last place, 13th behind Ryan Steinberg. But this could also get interesting here as Eastwan has a lot of speed And it may just be wise for Drew to just let that 24 go.
I think that's exactly what he's got to do. He's got to let him. Drew's got to let the 24 by here. But I'm not sure what Eastwan will do when he gets to Drew, because Drew may let Eastwan by, but that doesn't mean Eastwan won't attack Drew, which I mean would obviously result in the park for Eastwan instantly, but it doesn't get Drew the time back that he lost. So
I still don't really understand what got Eastwan so mad at first. They bumped a couple of times, but it looked like the 24 kind of started it, and then it precipitated into the ultimate spin of the 24.
Yeah, it looked like Eastwan was his own demise here. Could we see like a Chase Elliott, Kevin Harvick 2021 stylized battle where he just holds up Drew Jula until Ryan Steinberg gets back by them and makes Drew lose positions that way? I'm not sure what Eastwan's end goal is here.
Well, the only other thing is there's two cars further back. It's MJ Cerullo and Ryan Miniker. Now, I don't know if either of them have saved enough to be able to make it the rest of the way. They have a better chance, I think, than Ryan Steinberg of catching Drew. They're about Cerullo's about 4 or 5 seconds back. Now, he does spend a lot of time on the game, so maybe he has started to learn out tire wear a little bit. But right now, Eastwan's not really going to accomplish much by doing anything here. So it might be wise just to get past these two and for Drew to let him by. But the 24 is now right there in the back bumper of the 8.
As here they come into whatever corner they're in. I gotta find them. There we go. We're here. Drew Jula currently getting ran down by the 24 of Eastwan. Does Eastwan put him in the wall or put him in the pits? Does something happen here to Drew Jula? He's all over the back of him into turn 3. Does he send him? He's going to back off of him. I don't know why Eastwan's riding behind Drew Jula here. I'm not sure if there's some malintent prepared for Drew. But Eastwan's just kind of breathing down his neck right now.
And you've got Tyler Glass in the 22 right in front of this, too. So I really don't know what the 24 is trying to pull. He looks to the bottom here. He's going to have a run into 3. Again, he's going to pull to the top. Is he just trying to play mind games right now with the 8 car and hoping he messes up?
I'm not sure what his plan is here, because he's running the exact line Drew Jula is. He looks down his inside. Does he give him a bump into turn 1? Not quite.
And the thing, too, Eastman's definitely got the faster car right now. He's got 50-lap pressure tires. He could just go and pass both of these cars probably pretty easily. And if he got to the bottom without hitting Drew, I think Jula would just give him the room to pass him.
We're within like 20. We're within 20 to go at this point. It just makes you question, what is Chad Eastwan up to? Because right now, where would Drew have to finish if Vinny won the race? Eddie, do you remember?
If Vinny wins the race and gets the 50 points, Drew would have to finish 6th. If he finishes 7th, he'd lose out by 1 point.
Which means currently he's sitting in what, like 7th, I want to say?
Yeah, I'm just going to take a quick scan. So you still have Masser in 1st, then Yakavazi and Moore. Mazzilli is 4th. The 95 may have pitted, because he is not with that group anymore. No, he's still there. Stevens has dropped back, but he's in 5th. Urguez is no longer in the mix, but he's one pulls to the outside of the 8, so we're going to keep an eye on that. 88's pulling down. 88 pitted. So Urguez is behind Jula on track. He just unlapped himself from Drew when he just made that move.
Now it's going to show Kenny running down, because the longer and longer Drew runs in these tires, the slower and slower he gets, which means the faster the guys in front of him are going to get. Urguez might catch Drew. Maybe. It'll be close.
So right now, Drew is 8th, and Vinny is 2nd. So Vinny would get 45, Drew would get 27, Drew would win the championship by 1 point. The next car on track behind Drew is MJ Cerullo, who is still out there, the 19 car, but he is well back. So it's going to probably come down to if one of these cars can come around and pass them, and probably the only one would be Steinberg. Eastwan, a little bumper action to the 8, but the 8 kind of taps the 22 in front, so no harm, no foul.
I'm back.
So it looks like the likelihood here is that Yakavazi is gonna have to go forward instead of Jua going backward. Because I think the likelihood of Yakavazi going forward is infinitely higher than Jua falling into the clutches of MJ Cerulo. As funny as that sounds.
I also wonder when Drew is going to try to get past Tyler Glass, or if T-Glass is going to let Drew by. Another set of friends here. Well, at least off the track, there was some drama this season when T-Glass signed with McGinnis Motorsports when it was all but a done deal that he was going to go to OCM instead. He went over to McGinnis and Drew signed Tim. If Drew would get past T-Glass and try to put a little breathing room between he and Eastwan. But again, he's pushing his tires so far, maybe he just wants to ride it out. But we are coming to 10 laps to go in the season here, so it's all going to come down to this, as Drew Jua trying to hang on in this current spot, but you got Eastwan right on his bumper and don't know what he's trying to do.
So is
Mazzilli's
Drew
in the
good?
pits. Luca Mazzilli is in the pits.
Oh, that's huge.
So
That's very
Mazzilli
good.
has
Spot.
pitted. Now where is Nasser?
He's in the lead.
18
Nasser's
is on the
still in
first
the lead.
stretch. So
He just crossed the line.
Yakavazi is still in second.
I think
Tim pitted as well. I think Moore may have pitted. Wait, no, never mind. I'm dumb. No, Tim Moore is still on track. I thought he pitted to get Drew another spot.
That would be a smart call.
Yeah, things can happen where Vinny can win the title, but I think it's gonna be happening where Drew's just gonna win at this point, unless we get a caution, which I extremely doubt.
Now, 9 laps to go, I believe.
Yep. Actually, 8 to go. Drew is in 6th, it appears. I believe the current running order is Nasser, Yakavazi, Moore, Zach Mendez, Tyler Glass, then Drew Jua. So Jua is 6th, Yakavazi is 2nd. If they run like this, and Drew doesn't lose any more spots, he wins the championship, even if Vinny gets around Master and wins the race. And I feel like the 96 may have to pit just because of how much he pushed it, unless he really saved those first 20 laps.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Zach Mendez can make it. It's going to be very, very close. But right now, I don't know where Drew Jua is relative to the guys that just pitted, your Glaiuses, your Mazzillis. I'm not sure where Drew stands relative to those guys, because the first guy that pitted was Ryan Steinberg, and right now he's just in front of MJ Cerulo. I'm not sure if that is for position or not, but it looks like Steinberg's marching his way towards Drew as we speak.
Yeah, right now as Tim Moore passes Stevens. Now, I know Vinny and Master definitely haven't pitted yet, so them two are way in front of the others.
Sorry if I ask, but like, is
Go ahead.
it possible if if Vinny can win this title still?
Wait, what?
Is it possible for Vinny to win the title?
Is
If
Vinny's
Vi-
title
Vi-
still on the table?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what
Vinny
I meant,
can
sorry.
Yeah, Vinny can still win this. He's got to pass Master. That's the only chance here. If he gets past Casey Master and Drew loses one spot on track, Vinny is the champion, because I believe Drew runs 6th right now.
Oh.
So if Vinny wins, Drew has to finish 7th or worse. And
Eastwan
Eastwan just
again.
popped the wall, so that's pretty much it for Chad Eastwan challenging Drew Jua. And we've only got 3 to go and no more yellows. So Drew Jua may just about be in the clear now.
Yakavazi
Vinny's
has caught
catching.
Master.
Yeah, he's catching. A lot.
Vinny has caught Casey Master now.
You already know
2 to
Vinny's
go
gonna
in the
send it.
season. Does Casey let him by? 2 laps left here at Phoenix is right now the championship battle. We still don't know who has it. We believe Drew Jua has it. Master in the wall slightly. Trying to save some tire. Does he let Yakavazi win the race?
I think he is.
Coming to the white flag. Master in
He's
the
going
wall.
to. He's
I
gonna
believe
let
he's
him
lost
go.
the tire. I believe he's lost the tire. Yes, he has.
He lost
Casey
the tire.
Master's blowing the tire. Coming to the white flag.
Oh my gosh.
Yakavazi leads. 1 lap to
Well,
go
now-
for Phoenix.
But now the problem is Drew might catch Master too, so that's gonna hurt. So Vinny through turns 1 and 2 now. He's got the 20 behind him. Where does this put Drew points wise?
Here comes
I
Drew.
still think Drew's gonna have it, but Vinny's
Oh,
going to do the
Vinny!
best he can.
That's your
And now
spinning!
Vinny's slowing down through 3 and 4. Can he get to the line? He's going to. The 41
Vincenzo's gonna
of
win it.
Vinny Iacovazzi limps across
Kevin
the line
second.
and wins it at Phoenix.
I believe. Where's Drew?
He wins it, but Drew Jula passed Casey Master and will finish 5th.
Oh.
That means that he actually will finish 4th. So by metric, Drew Jula, after getting wrecked in the beginning of the second half, is going to rally back and win the championship.
What a finish. I have no clue what happened there.
Straight title for Drew Jula.
And the first ever in VRC history to win 3 championships unofficially, but it looks like Drew Jula has done it. He won it in Season 5 over Tyler McDonald here at Phoenix, and last year at Chicago over Tim Moore. And now, despite the odds, after getting wrecked, he ends up finishing 3rd in the race. He gets P3. Drew recovers from the wreck he fell to as far back as 12th, and he ends up finishing 3rd. And congratulations to Georgia's Drew Jua, the VRC Season 9 champion for OCM Racing.
And just like yesterday, the person who was second in points wins the race, but not the title.
The second straight bittersweet win.
I will say, though, great job to Vincenzo.
Alex Cash-Stevens got P2.
Career best finish for Alex Stevens.
That is
Shout out
amazing.
to him. He gets 2nd. So Masser blew a tire. I have no idea what happened to Tim. I do think there's a possibility of Tim pitting or letting Drew by at the end. And then,
Kevin
the
Costello.
chaos with Eastwan. Apparently there was a wreck, too, on the last lap between Eastwan and Zachary Mendez. So there was tons of chaos. Kevin Urguez got fastest lap, by the way. But Vincenzo Iacovazzi wins for the 2nd time in his career at Phoenix, for the first time this season.
And the
But
4th
comes
is,
up just short. And again, those halfway points that Vinny missed out on are going to loom large. And Drew squeaks by and becomes the only driver that is a 3-time virtual racing champion. Sebi's won 5 OMA championships, but nobody's run in the top stock car series 3 times until tonight.
Man, Vinny was on 4% on his tires. If he blew his tire, man, that would have been insane. But yeah, Drew wins the title just like that. Great win for Vinny at the end there. I think he just led like 2 laps, so.
We will try to get some interviews, of course, but the results we know so far is that Iacovazzi was 1st, Stevens was 2nd, Jua was 3rd. Ryan Steinberg, because of that strategy that Sammy pointed out, got a top 5. I think he was 5th, and I think Tyler Glass was 4th, if my math is correct here. So we actually got a couple of surprising faces in the top 5. Yes. So your top 5 to that, Vincenzo Iacovazzi wins for the first time this season, his first VRC win since Season 6 at this very track at Phoenix when he was driving the 24 for Thunderbolt Racing. Alex Stevens, the career best 2nd, and Drew Jua recovers from the wreck and some craziness with Chad Eastwan to get 3rd and win his 3rd VRC championship. We'll get the full results for you before the stream ends. We've brought a couple of people in. Before we get to the championship contenders, how about a big shout out? We'll bring him in. Alex Stevens, who had a rough year, I'll admit, in the VRC this season, but closes it out in a huge way with his best career finish in the OMA's top series, a P2 for that number 95 Toyota. Alex, congrats on the P2. Take us through that race and how you were able to save enough to hang on and get 2nd place.
Well, it got sketchy towards the end there, but, if I didn't battle Word so hard, we probably wouldn't have to worry about it, but we were in the I Don't Give a Ash club. So, it was good. It was pressure. I had to literally slow down to where T-Glass and Drew were getting a 2nd per lap, but I could able to afford it because they were like 11 seconds back. So, but good P2, happy. First time I'm been interviewed. Hello.
Hi.
And Yeah, it was good. It was a disappointing season, but again, another top 10 season. I can't ask for more. So.
Yeah, for sure. So a great run for Alex Stevens. He comes home second and gets to make his first stop in the OMA broadcast booth. Congratulations to him and best of luck to next season for him. Sammy, maybe you can take our winner, but not our championship winner who has just arrived, Vinny Yakavazi.
Yeah, I'll take Vinny. Vinny, you obviously had a great race, man. Struggled a little bit in the first half. Didn't quite get the halfway points you needed, which loomed large as Eddie phrased it in the second half. Just talk me through your night, man, and how you obviously had a strong car, was running with Casey and Tim the entire night, and just how you came wee short of the championship.
Yeah, going into the race, I was just I'm banking on the strategy that I had, and it worked out up until the caution. And after that, I made a tiny but the most meaningful adjustment of the race that went against me was going one click up on the wedge, and it just made my car plow for the rest of that run. And I was running almost the faster laps, but towards the end, I was just plowing tight, and I didn't want to knock Drew out of the way or knock T-Glass out of the way for no reason at the time. So, halfway, I I said the pre-race I needed halfway, and we got fifth. Drew got third, so that put us in a hole. But backs against the wall, we got a benefit off of whatever happened in the back, and I was telling Kevin and Toasted to K Harvick fan, not Kevin, you, um, to just keep letting me know how many I have, and it was fluctuating from 4 to 1 to me down 2 to me up 1. So I just needed to keep relaying that if it was possible for people to stay behind me to give me the best shot I could get at it, and thankfully, you know, um, some people stuck with it and helped me out as much as they could. Um, the second half, that's where the strategy really came in, and getting towards 25 to go, I said I don't think where I'm at right now is comfortable enough, and the right urge that I had, because I backed off a little bit because I wanted some of the lap cars to get another lap for the season, and it actually got Stein a top 5. But I started backing off, and luckily I finished 1% across the line. Um, Shades to what I did a few seasons ago. I was around the same thing with my right rear and won. So I can't be mad about losing, obviously, or losing the championship when I won the race. First win of my season, first win back in VRC in a long time. So you know, I can dangle my head a little bit about the championship, but I can celebrate the win and a phenomenal season and a phenomenal winless season all the way up to the championship nonetheless. So, there's definitely stuff I can work on. And, when I get the time to do it, I'll definitely do it. And I just appreciate everybody who raced me clean all season, and for everybody that gave me the second chance that was given to everybody else, and accepting me back in for my little situation 2 years ago. And I had a really fun time this season. I didn't expect to be in the situation I was, considering with my work schedule and stuff, but luckily it eventually worked around. It worked around the league. So um once again, I was just proud of the moment to be here again. The last time I raced for one of these was in 2018, where I was in a similar situation, dominating fashion. I went into it, yes, but if you recall, I had to make a big strategy towards the end, at the end of it, because I got wrecked out of it and raced my way back into it and won. So we tried that strategy tonight, but Drew definitely deserves the championship. All in all, he had one of the greatest OMA seasons of all time, in my opinion. It's very tough to beat him, and what he had to deal with, to come back and get a top 3 is phenomenal. And it sucks that he was in that position to begin with. He should have probably been up there with me, Casey and Tim, I was just hanging on, and props to him on winning the championship.
Yeah. Before I let you go here and let you go celebrate with everybody, before you got to get ready for extra, is there anybody you want to thank for this, not just strong performance in the race, but this entire season as a whole?
Yeah, like I said again, I'd like to thank Drew, Tim, and Eddie, and everybody else who accepted me back in, and gave me a second chance to be able to race here. And I know it's just an online league. It's not that serious, but personally, to be accepted back in by everybody, to be liked by majority of the group, and to be, one of the guys again, it feels good mentally. And I like to thank everybody that helped me out tonight. From what I saw on track, Alex, Casey, Timmy, Drew kept me clean, T-Glass kept me clean. Everybody really kept me clean. And they didn't have to do that. I know it was stated in the rules to keep us clean, but realistically, they don't have to do that for us. So to see that, it's I give all my respect to everybody that did that for me. And I know Tim was he was very optimistic about my season when I was driving for Dark Horse and aligned with OCM and the stuff that I was doing out of my way as a driver instead of an owner to help make our entire team get better. He really wanted to see it prosper, and I know he promised me wins and wins and we didn't get it, but I got this. I'm happy I got this one on my own with help of everybody, but I'm glad I got the strategy down and everything down on my own and won tonight. And I can't thank the league again for letting me back in and be a team owner and race and accept me as one.
Thank you, Vinny, for your time, and congratulations on tonight, and good luck next season.
Thank you.
All right. Well, now it's time for one of the best interviews probably we're going to have in a long time in the OMA. The first time ever we have a 3-time virtual racing champion, Drew Jua, who raced his tail off in the second half of this race. So just to take everything into context, Drew came in with a 15-point lead, ran a very solid first half, scored more halfway points than the other two contenders, had a 19-point lead, then got caught up in a wreck right off the start of the second half, fell as far back as 12th, and was slowly able to recover, save the tires enough while simultaneously getting battled maybe a little too aggressively by Chad Eastwan, who says he was just trying to wear down Drew's tires. But Drew was still able to consolidate enough and save 4% on those tires to be able to get a third place finish, another podium, adding to an illustrious season to grab his third championship in the VRC for OCM Racing. Drew, before I ask you anything about the race, just how does it feel to be a champion for the third time in the VRC? Something that Tim, Tyler, Sebi, nobody else has done it before. You stand alone.
Yeah, I mean, in that aspect, he feels great. I mean, we've worked our tail off all season. We won the first 3 races of the season. Started off really, really well. We kind of, I wouldn't say struggled here in the playoffs, but I don't think I've run outside the top 10 or top 5 this much in any OMA season. So I mean, it's just it's bittersweet. Like how I feel right now is I feel annoyed. I really am. But I'm happy that we were able to recover and win the championship. I just want to say thank you to T Glass for helping me keep my keep my cool there at the end. But I mean, it's nice to be the first and only driver with 3 championships.
So let's talk about the second half of that race. The first half, pretty self-explanatory, started towards the back, and then you were able to work your way towards the front, score some points. Then happened on that restart, because we didn't catch it. We saw you got bumped from behind, and then you ended up all the way back in like 11th or 12th place, and it looked like possibly a really bad situation, and it seemed like it was going to be very difficult for you to recover. Obviously, you had a lot of time, but you lost a lot of track position in that incident.
Yeah, I mean, on the restart, I think we started third there. The top lane got a better restart. Me and Tim kind of got caught lacking. Um, we fell back down to fifth, and I go into the corner. I tightened up my car, just anticipating a long run, just in case, so I could save my right rear a little bit better. And what ends up happening is Chatty's one just completely punts me. I don't know if there's somebody behind him. I look behind, there's nobody behind him. I literally hit the wall. That's how hard I got punted. I fall all the way back, and I kid you not, off of turn two, he wrecks again, and I get involved in it. I mean, if I didn't get punted there, that would have never happened. So completely frustrating there. I mean, I was obviously upset. There was absolutely no reason to do that with 70 like 5 laps to go. I understand he's trying to, get a good restart, but what good does it do punting me up the track? But we moved on, and me and T Glass kind of slowly but surely. Well, I didn't slowly but surely. I was already back there. I kind of just I ran my own pace, tried to keep the right rear cool. T Glass slowly fell to me, and all appear. I mean, there's Chatty's one again, and he was going super slow in the corners. Like me and T Glass were pretty close on our breaking points, but he was literally, I kid you not, he was like half like of what we were. I mean, I don't think I used the right term there, but he was so much earlier than us, and I would run him over every single time, and then he would contradict himself and then cut the dog leg for no reason. I was like, if he's saving, why is he cutting the dog leg? And then he continued to race me. I would go
Yeah,
inside, then he'd start pushing. Were you saying sorry?
it was very yeah, you cut out for a second. I just want to say, yeah, it was very confusing, at least for us. Now, from what I saw, the incident off the restart, he got bumped by the 96. But I did not really understand him banging into you multiple times the first time around. And then when he pitted and he came back, he says he was trying to wear down your tires, hoping maybe you'd blow a tire, which I can also understand. But the middle stretch to me was very confusing. But take me through now those last few laps. Once you got past East One, you saw people pitting. You knew Vinny was getting up there to try to win this race, and how you were able to save the tires just enough at the end to hang on and end up with a P3 in a championship.
Yeah, I'm gonna quickly go back to what I was saying, but I assume I cut out. Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, I was just saving my tires at T Glass, trying to make him move around him, and was really like kind of struggling because he would battle me super hard. And then I get to his outside, and I think I did make contact with him. I got really annoyed because he kept battling me and making a little bit of contact. So I hit him up and this was after he had sent me in deep, and he slide jobbed me and just put me in the wall. That also burnt off my tire a little bit. Then I don't remember what else happened. Oh yeah, then I got around him, and I put him in the wall a little bit. I was frustrated. I mean, I'm racing for something that is a lot worse, and a lot more. I mean, and he had already done something to me before, and then he kept adding on to it. And then before I go to the final couple laps, I don't know what happened. I was on his inside trying to make a move. He gets loose off the corner and just completely door slams. He keeps coming down, and that's where he wrecked. I didn't really understand it. He made these moves, and then he almost wrecks himself trying to battle me, and I have every reason to be frustrated because he wants to race me for fun. I have a lot more to risk, and him racing me like that, there's no reason for it. But moving on to the final couple laps, I was so confused because you saw his teammate Kevin come and fly by right by us. We let him by. He was pushing me down the straights and messing up me and T Glass's braking points. It's kind of just ridiculous at this point. I think he's kind of a sore sport. He raced every single race, sweated his ass off every single qualifying, put in like laps of practice when I don't, and then he's nowhere in the championship fight. He won one race this whole season, and it was at Pocono. That's the only good thing he did all season. I understand he was in a championship battle, but if you look at everybody else, I think Kevin was the only person besides him that was in that championship battle that didn't race every race. That raced every race. I mean, sorry. But we fended off. I was like 8% to the good with like 19 laps to go, and it slowly dwindled down with him on my back bumper, and then he loses it for no reason. So it's kind of ridiculous. I'm really happy that we came back for a P3, but overall, just a super frustrating race. If I was in that situation and I wasn't in the championship battle, I wouldn't have raced Chad Eastman like that. So it's kind of just ridiculous. It goes back to ORR treating me like shit every single time. So I mean, I've been intent wrecked, intentionally trying to screw me over. It's just ridiculous at this point. I'm frustrated. I'm happy that I won the championship, but um, what's the point of sabotaging somebody that didn't sabotage you?
Yeah, I understand your frustration, but at the very least, you're still able to end up with this championship, your third of your career. So I want to give you the time, give any thank yous you want to give, and you did hint that you might have had an announcement for us after the race, depending on the race, how the race went. So the floor is yours.
Yeah. So there was questions if this would be my last season after I won the championship. And I mean, I've thought about it. I've talked about it with Tim. I don't enjoy on Heat anymore. It's not fun. Like I could go back to controller, but my pedals are literally garbage. I blip out every time. The brake sticks every once in a while. So I just wanted to say, I mean, I'm gonna come clean. This is probably gonna next season. It's probably gonna be my last time full time. I just don't really enjoy this game anymore. So I'm gonna pull Kevin Harvick and go for 4. I guess I don't know. We'll be back. And we'll see. But like Tim said, me and him both want to rate Tyler sorry, not Tyler, different Tyler McDonald's all-time win record. That's what I'm going for next season. If I win this amount, I'm pretty sure I'll be either tied or more than him. It's pretty close. I mean, I'm 7-ish behind. So yeah, this is my last full-time season next season.
So that is some big news, of course, for
Absolute
context.
bombshell.
Yes, Drew is at 36 wins. Tyler is at 44. So Drew needs 8. Now he'll also be able to attempt one VNS race plus Daytona. So maybe if he can grab one of those, he'd need to win 7 VRC to tie Tyler, 8 to pass him. So, but definitely some big news there. But Drew Jua is now a 3-time VRC champion. And for those who want to have the OMA GOAT debate, he has certainly helped cement himself with a legacy performance in the second half of this race, recovering from a big wreck to end up P3 and become the season 9 champ. Drew, thanks for joining us. Congrats on another title, and best of luck next season in your final ride full-time in the VRC.
Thank you.
All right, well, that'll do it with our interviews. Shout out to Vinny, Stevens, and Drew for joining us. We're going to stay on the post-race show, I guess, for a few more minutes because we have some stuff to talk about. Eddie Kalegi with Sammy Marasco and Landon Lyle. We'll talk about Drew's announcement in a few minutes.
Wow.
But let's talk a little more just about this race. It was a great one. Last year's championship was a great one too because it came down to no fuel strategy. It was just a straight up race between Drew Jua and Tim Moore. This year, though, wasn't fuel, it was tires. And you saw Casey Masser have a tire issue at the end. I believe Tim Moore had something with the tires. And we saw some surprising guys end up in the top 5. But just, Sammy, what a run it was from Drew Jua, who got caught up in that wreck, had to deal with Chad Eastwan's antics, and still ended up getting P3 and winning the title, even though Vinny was able to win the race.
That's what you call
Yeah, I feel like this entire race, like that entire second half, was just classic Drew Jua. When the chips are down, cards are against him, he rises to the occasion, and somehow, at the end of the day, still finds a way to win. That is what Drew Jua has done and will proceed to do going into what he said was his final season of his VRC career.
Yes. Yeah.
Dominant performance.
And this is going to be interesting how Drew closes things out in season 10, which will also be the 5-year anniversary season of the league. Lyle, I'm curious your perspective on how this worked. Obviously, you were part of Ohio River Racing this season, and you guys had a fair share of smack talk from OCM. And in the very end of the season, we saw OCM and ORR clash with Chad Eastwan, providing the pressure, saying he was just trying to burn Drew's tires. But we did see a lot of contact in the second half of that race between 24 and the 8.
Yeah, tonight was, I'm just gonna go out and say, I mean, it might have been one of the best Phoenix races I've probably seen, maybe in the league's history. I mean, I'm not too sure if you stacked all of them into like a tier list or something, but tonight was a very entertaining race. The deal with Eastwan and Drew was a bit chaotic. I did not think Eastwan would get that aggressive with Drew, but yeah, I mean, this season, it was a great season. Again, by the way, congrats to Vinny on winning Phoenix tonight. But it was a great season. Not so great of a season for me and the ORR camp. Well, mostly just me. I think Kevin had a great season. I think Parker had an amazing season with his Venus run, and Kevin, he got a few poles along with Eastwan, and Kevin, he probably had the least controversy, but yeah, Parker got his win at Michigan, and Eastwan with Pocono. So, hopefully, moving forward, since I won't be with that team anymore, and I'm not sure what Eastwan's plans will be, but hopefully, best of luck to RR moving forward, because I don't want what happened this season to happen again. That was a bit embarrassing on my part, in full honesty. But yeah, that's all I gotta say about that stuff.
So we'll close with two more things. Well, I guess it kind of combines. So Drew Jua wins his third championship. As we've said, only person to win 3 in the VRC. Sebastian Kukulon, the only person with more championships in the league. We know Tyler McDonald, what he's been able to accomplish. Tim Moore, how dominant he's been since he first joined the series. Where does this put Drew all-time in the OMA now, winning his third championship, especially with the news that next season is going to be his last full-time season as he tries to chase the all-time win record? And I'll go to Sammy first.
I think it's going to be a very good season next season with Drew. Obviously, now he's going to have a fire in him that we've never seen before, because he's going to want to win as much as he possibly can to try and get Tyler McDonald's record and snap it. So I think we're going to see a very motivated Drew Jua next season. I'm still at the top of his game, and I think we might see a season for the ages.
And Lyle, over to you.
Well, I mean, it's the season, basically. It's season 10. It's, the 5-year anniversary season, as I guess we can call it, of this league. Drew's been running here for probably most of those years. I feel like, if he wants to get to Tyler, he's obviously going to have to work even harder this season, really. But I also feel like he's probably going to have it laid back a little bit, because he's obviously had his most dominant season this season. He might have the same thing for next season as well, but usually on your retirement season, you kind of have a little more of a chill vibe to it. But surely, I'm very sure that Drew will have a fire under his butt next season. But yeah, it's gonna be very exciting to see how that will all play out.
Yeah, it is going to be an exciting season 10. It all kicks off in 2 weeks with the Clash at Road NC, and then the weekend of March 10th is the season 9 VNS opener and the season 10 Daytona 250. It's been a great year of coverage of the OMA. Shout out to Lyle and Sammy and Jonathan Amodio and Victor and Jackson Stotts and Fisher, who have done all the streaming throughout the year, and we've loved bringing it to you. But season 9 comes to an end here. Drew Jua, 3-time champ. He gets it done with a P3 at Phoenix Raceway for OCM Racing. That'll be all here on Twitch. For Landon Lyle and Sammy Marasco, I'm Eddie Kalegi signing off. Hope you enjoyed the season. We'll see you in 2 weeks for the Clash and next month for Speed Weeks.
Still, everybody.
See you guys.